Welcome to the Outer Realm with MicheleDerocher and Amelia Pisano. Airing live on the United Public Radio Network, 105.3 FM in New Orleans.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Thursday night segment of The Outer Realm. We are broadcasting live on the United Public Radio Network, 105.3 FM from the Gulf Coast, 107.7 FM from beautiful New Orleans. We're fully sponsored by the amazing people over at Folgers Coffee who have been a part of our journey for the last several years. So thank you, Folgers. We couldn't do it without you, nor would we want to. Also, big thank you to Justin Snicker, aka Dr. Snick, the Sonic Surgeon, for the contribution of his voice, his music, and his time for the intro you just heard. He's an award-winning composer of Halloween, horror, sci-fi, and dark wave electronic music, which can be found on all of your favorite music streaming platforms. Also, big thank you to Steve McGinnis, the artist behind the logos here at the show. Check him out on Facebook and Instagram. Also specializes in the horror and Halloween genre, but does phenomenal commission pieces of any type. So tonight's a real treat. I'm really looking forward to this. And for all of you guys who have been messaging me, asking me, when are we going to do a show about Dogman? It's like, oh my God, out of my freaking wheelhouse. But I hold my own, okay? But I did bring somebody who can talk to you guys all about it, and Sir Bryan Bowden. And I have just been looking forward to this. And some of you may know him from Third Eye Live, which is his own show, which you guys need to check out, which is on Wednesday nights, I believe 8 p.m. Eastern time. And if I got that wrong, you just have to let me know, but I'm pretty sure. Yeah, okay. I'm pretty sure I got that right. Okay, perfect. Anyway, born and raised in New York, and basically experienced some unusual events throughout his life that drove his curiosity. Doesn't it always start out like that? And basically became boots on the ground for UFO, cryptid, paranormal research and investigations. His experiences in the paranormal realm cover the gambit of the goblin universe. Geez, we need to talk about freaking goblins. That's for darn sure. Sasquatch, Dogman, mystical beasts and spirits, several UFOs experiences. I mean, we could go on and on and on. But why listen to me go on when we can just listen to Bryan go on? So without further ado, Bryan Bowden, how are you?
I'm good, Michelle. How are you? Thank you for having me on the broadcast.
Oh, you kidding? This is great.
I appreciate it.
Well, you've been on with so many of my friends, with Kat and Jen and Tim, and I'm just like, okay, you know
I
what?
always give Kat a hard time because she always puts one of the guys I investigate with when I was in New York is Al Santoriga. So she always she goes, "Can you come on my show?" I said, "What? Al was busy."
I know.
I give her a hard time. So
she's funny,
really sweet, but I always I know you're funky when you're by yourself, Kat, aren't you? And she's like, "No, I'm not." So,
she is funny though. I've known her for a few years, and I just love her. And it's just she's just funny. She'll come out with the odd zinger out there. We're just like,
yes, she does.
That's our cat.
It's like, I don't know if anybody's ever seen Ferris Bueller Day Off, but she's like in many ways Grace, who was Ed Rooney's secretary, and she's sitting there with the whiteouts, she'll just throw these things out, and she does not look like that type of person. It's going to throw it out at you, and that's what makes it more impressive,
more interesting.
Yeah, it's fun.
I love it. Yeah. She'll be in here. She'll be in here. If she's not working, she'll be in here.
Oh, I'm sure.
She might be in here if she is working. Naughty.
You know what? I mean, I've done that. I've had to work the late shift and no one's there. So we put stuff on the computer and, as long as, and if someone comes in or the call comes in, you just pause it and you pick it up.
For sure.
Not really that difficult. So.
You know what? I'm so grateful that I've been self-employed probably for the last few decades of my life, which has allowed me the freedom to do all of that. But I used to have like a government job, so I have a very healthy respect for the not being able to have a life during the workplace or work
Yes,
hours. You
I
know.
worked banking for a while, but one of my first jobs was for the International Monetary Fund and World Bank,
Yes.
United Nations. So
Yes.
I was in charge. My project was to get rid of third world debt.
Ah,
And I asked the question, seriously? Or are you just a mouthpiece? And they gave me that smirky look. And I'm like, no, seriously. I'm like, okay, so you're
yeah.
not going to do it. But I put forth a plan. And when I brought it up and they all read it, they were like, you can see that, like, oh my God, he actually did this. So,
That's funny. I
you
did.
give me a task and I can help people out, I'm going to do it. But I wasn't until later on. I mean, I always knew something was weird.
Yeah.
I used to do things. I used to know people were coming or someone's going to pass away or, but I never, I was into this stuff, all this paranormal stuff, but I didn't really go out to do it. It wasn't until I got a vehicle or a car so I can travel. And then I had some free time that I actually got into it. And then later on, we have a psychic for a group in Arkansas. Her name is Cindy Belly Dove, and she's really, really good at it, even though she goes, I'm not number one, like whatever. But what she does is she investigates. Anybody coming out on an investigation with us has to be vetted by her because, as you know, if you're not prepared for an investigation or there's certain things going on with you, it could be very dangerous for you.
Oh yes.
And then, in fact, it's dangerous for us.
Mhm.
So she would vet it, and in the process, she can pick up as a psychic who's like open to, your gifts and abilities. And remember Al telling me, and one guy was like, "You guys were okay. This guy has, she got a little tingle, so it means that you're more open to, the possibilities possible using your gifts." And then Al goes, and then she got to you and got shocked off her chair. So I went to explore it, saying to her, I don't want to open a Pandora's box, even though I knew it was a Pandora's box. And she's like, yeah, right. It's a Pandora's box. Okay. And I've just been practicing. I've been calling myself a remote viewer for a while, but I do have abilities. I don't get involved in the, play rodeo, play a vision. I don't get involved in naming these things.
Yeah.
I just do what I do. And
Yes.
I'm just as surprised when new things appear. I'm like, oh, that's a new feature. I just leveled up.
I know. Isn't it great when somebody validates you? Just like, yeah, I did that.
Yeah, I mean, but you get these visions
Mhm.
and you tell people things, you get these things, you tell them, and it's so off the wall crazy. And I would tell my buddy Al, and I'll go, Al, should I tell him? And he's like, yeah, go ahead. Like that's how Al's big Santa Rica, And I go, yeah, go. You're saying go ahead because it's not you that's sounding like a lunatic. But when you go there and you are proven right and over again, and I'm not patting myself on the back.
Mhm.
I'm pretty spot on, and
Yeah.
I would give myself around a 98%. I mean, everybody, I'm real close.
Mhm.
Some things you do miss. It depends on that was in the beginning. When I start seeing things now, it's
Yeah.
we're mile markering off, and you're
Yeah.
like, yeah. But then
Yeah.
you also know that when you talk about future events, if you are not following the path you're already on, to go through that,
Mhm.
your path can change,
Mhm.
so. But
Yes.
yeah, I
It's true.
use remote viewing on all investigations, even the paranormal kind. And I try to connect with consciousness to see what we're going into,
Mhm.
what we're going to happen, what's going to happen there. And sometimes, having children, I'm not able to get out into the field. So which is really frustrating because it's sometimes you don't want to be dad,
Mm.
I mean, you
Yeah.
love that part of it, but like I want to go out and sit in mud and look for Bigfoot. That's
Yeah.
where I want to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I've done remote viewing on several investigations, and I'll text them, and I'll even draw little things and put it into the phone. And what I love is I did one with my buddy. I do a lot of I moved to Florida, So I do a lot of investigating on the West Coast and the East Coast of Florida. And when I say West Coast, I'm talking about Florida. I'm not talking about California. I really don't want to go there. But so I told him I was sat there and I remote viewed and I said, you're being shadowed by these two baby Bigfoot or teenagers.
Mhm.
And I said, you're going to come to a point where there's a gully and on the left, the road's going to go straight or split to the left. And you got one on your left immediately. And then if you make the left, you'll have that one in the patch there. But if you go straight, there's mama. And she's looking down like, what are those kids up to?
Uh-oh.
And
Yeah.
one of the guys on our team is a forensic police officer, former. He does forensic evidence collection and everything. We really try to collect evidence properly and then have it tested. And we have a lot of really, on the science side of things, people in professions that can validate stuff and look at it. And he was talking to Stevie. He goes, you really believe this mumbo jumbo about whatever? So Stevie goes, take a look. And the guy's eyes widen and goes, holy, you know what?
Yeah.
That everything he just said, we're at that point right now. Everything he said just happened. He goes, what do you think? And he's like, I believe it now. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we were being watched. Never mind that like the geographic is perfect, but we're being watched. It'd be this part. I'd be like,
well,
okay, where's Mama Bear? Yeah.
That's what happens. I mean, like, of the cryptids that are out there, I've investigated the Jersey Devil. I've investigated the Owl Man. Who? The Owl Man. Who?
Yeah.
I did not want to believe in the Dogman. I just
Why?
thought people were making it up. You know,
Really? Because I mean,
new.
it goes back like to ancient times. Like,
Oh, yes, it does.
yeah.
But when you think of something like this, and to give you an exact, there's an image of it behind me. I have a better image I could throw up on the side so you can see all the 7 variants of this cryptid.
Yeah. You
And
can go ahead. You can share it.
I'm going to add the slide so I can take that down, and people can see it. But there are 7 different types that people have seen. I hope. Oh, it's not going to let me do it.
Oh, really?
I'm going to figure it out. But
you
there's
can always send it to me on Messenger. I could grab it and do it.
Yeah, I think it's a web graphic. So let me just make it quick.
Okay.
No, I'll pull it up. I know how to play around. I used to be a graphic artist, and
so be all right. Okay.
yeah, I mean,
technology hopefully will work with you.
I hope it works with me. But if you do a screenshot, it saves it at the proper format, and then I'll resend it and put it up there because I want people to see the different types that have been seen in, I guess you called the wild. And I will show you I will talk about the ones that I've seen.
Okay.
Why are you keep doing this to me? And I will definitely, talk about those so that people understand I did not want to believe in this creature. I was like, okay, you guys are crazy. I'm out of this. Someone's making this up. As they said, that old saying way back when, we jumped the shark.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought we jumped the shark. I thought people got bored of the Bigfoot, so now they're going to do this. But Vic Cundiff, really, in my opinion, is the godfather bringing this forward. And if you don't know who Vic Cundiff is, he's out of New England. And Vic talks. He's really quiet. Hi, I'm Vic. Really mellow. Yeah. And he does these different stories on Dogman. And I've heard several of them. And one of my buddies, Al, he listened to everything Dogman that could be. I mean, unbelievable how much he knew it all at the one point. And I'm listening. And then we had a little conversation before the show started. I got a phone call. I did it something public, and I forgot what show we were doing publicly, or we were talking about it on our own show. Because we had one way back when, about 2015. And I said, I don't know if this is real. I mean, it's too convenient. And then I get a phone call on my phone. And in the States, it's all zeros. So it's 000000000, and at the bottom of it, it says GOV. Now, I've had this before. I had a call U.S. Customs. The U.S. Marshals, because someone called me pretending to be a marshal. I have some family members that are federal, and they do not like when you pretend to be a federal officer.
Yeah.
So I lodged a complaint, and the detective called me back. This is the Dogman right here. There's 3 different types. There's variant 1, 2, 3, 4, and then there's type 3, which is something you really don't want to meet. But long story short, I've had this before. It would come up all zeros and it'd say U.S. Marshals, Southern District, whatever. So I get on the phone and I'm like, hello? And they're like, is this Bowden? And I'm like, yeah. Who is this? He goes, you don't believe in the Dogman? I said, no. How'd you get my number? Because I don't give out my number. And he goes, well, I'll tell you it's absolutely 100% real. And I'm going to tell you what I do and what I do for the government. I said, okay. And this guy is a soldier in the military in a unit that goes out and protects bases, or if you can, if you want to pull it off, we can pull it off for a second so that they can, but he goes out and when these cryptids come up to bases or installations, or they somehow do stupid things in the wild, including national parks, their job is to go out and get it and get rid of it. Primarily, they said they'd like to have a live specimen, but they don't care how we do it. You get rid of it. And I said, so you've gotten rid of these things? And he's like, yes, I am. Yes, I have. And he started describing some things. And I'm like, so, I wanted to ask him more questions. He goes, I'm not talking anymore, but I may be back. I may send you some things here and there. And that was the end of the phone call.
Crazy.
And then it was really weird. I get these things. And I got a video around the same time. There's I got a video. There was a weird heading. I'm a computer guy, so I know how to use the headers and the footers, the technology inside an email. Trace it back, and you can ping things back. And I also have people that are really good at hacking. That's what they did with their VIC 20, and they're on the run and they do stupid things from high school. But couldn't trace this. There was no. It was like someone went, "Whoop! Here it is in your inbox," and the video inside is from South America. I know it's South American. There's a gentleman with a beard, a South American gentleman who looks like he's somewhat either an attaché or an advisor, and he's talking to a 7-foot plus extraterrestrial tall gray. And we've seen these videos. I had it in 2015. And I held on to it because I didn't know if it was okay to release at that time. But then a bunch of years later, the video started popping up here and there. So I said, the hell with it, I'll just release it. So I released it. But this is what happens. I get these things every once in a while. And it's like you get this great stuff and you want to ask questions. You want to vet it, and it's like the wind. It's like, they just came in. Yeah. Here you go. Bye.
Yeah. Sometimes things are just meant to find you. You're the one who's meant to have it. And there's just.
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty bold about it. So after that phone call, I was like, okay, yeah, I'll deal with it. And then not long after that, I had my first encounter with the damn thing. Sorry about I will limit my
no worries. I've had people say worse.
Yeah, I know there's a drop button, like beep. We have a censor button I put in on our show now. It's just like,
Yeah.
So it's there you go. So, I have an automatic censor button. So there's a place in upstate New York that is 28,000 square acres of I guess an institution for the mentally frail, disfigured, bastard children, unwanted, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And it's called Letchworth Village. You may have seen it on a couple of shows. So we went in there, and we've had our own, we had this old lady that came and some blue lightning that showed up. We had a floating apparition in the operating room of a doctor. So a bunch of us went there, and we always knew that there was a burial site for people that were in the facility. Now, a lot of these people passed away with strange means. They may have tested certain stuff on them to see if they were candidates, and I'm using my fingers to do something here. I don't want to get anybody banned.
Yep.
And the way they would test it is they tested on anything that was like a month and a half old or whatever, up to like 100 plus, whatever has been there.
Mm-hmm.
And if you didn't pass away or die from it, it was a candidate for use. There was also reports of doctors that did experimentation on people. So they had a cemetery of just dumped bodies. So after that initial investigation, Buddy Allen and I, we found out where the cemetery is. And it's at the corner, the furthest most corner of the property, like away from the main buildings, miles. 28,000 acres is a lot of acreage.
Yeah.
Okay. So we said, we're going to do a day-night investigation. This is what we like to do. So we get on this road, we go up the road, and it's a 2-lane road, the country road. And there are very few houses there. I mean, like 1 or 2, and you pull up, and this cemetery, it's on as we pulled up, we pulled off to the left side, and we parked on this gravel, got out, we got our bags together, and we walked down this road about a quarter of a mile, which bordered along a utility corridor that's open, that has the power lines down there. And when you come out on this road, staring right in front of you is a concrete block that's probably 5 feet by 6 feet. And there's a plaque on it now from the families that discovered who their loved ones in there, so they can mark the graves that are there. So I said to my buddy, I said, let's put our stuff behind that. So 1, no one sees if they walk down the path. And 2, we got at least our backs protected. And in front of us is a big tree and a huge mound that's filled with dead bodies. And so I'm in paranormal mode, mind you, not in cryptid mode. I'm not in UFO land. I'm in make the flashlight move mode.
Yeah.
And while we're there, it's really, really quiet, and we're getting our stuff together. And we hear somebody coming in on a fort, like a small side by side, and there are these 2 kids in it, like a dirt bikes, and like we're looking for them, like really urgent. And they go up, and there's 2 paths. You can go to the right, go up the path around the mound, or to the left, and it goes up this hill a little ways from the mound, cuts across the corridor, and goes to the other side. So we're like, wow, that's weird. These guys came in like a bat out of hell. Now, mind you, if I grew up in the house around the corner from there, we would be drinking in that area. That's what we would be doing. I'm going to be brutally honest. But they looked like they were on a mission. So we're like, that was strange. So we're getting our stuff together, and then they see us, and they stop. They're like, what are you doing here? And we say, well, we're paranormal investigators. We're investigating the cemetery and whatever. And they reply back to whoever's in that their earpiece, the paranormal investigators, we're out of here. And they go out real quick. Now, I take notice of that. They did not, it was clear they didn't want to be there. And it wasn't, it was more than just a kid being annoyed that they have to take the dishes or do the dishes or the garbage. They did not want to be there, and I didn't understand it. I'm like, I know it's a cemetery. Maybe they got spooked. Whatever. So we go on this investigation, we go our separate ways, and we're using the EVPs. We're trying to communicate, we're walking, and we hear this really big dog barks, like deep, and it echoes off the area. Because when you're in the country, you kind of like, there's an echo most of the time. And my buddy's like, "Wow, that's a big dog." I'm getting this Dogman vibe. And I'm like, I'm ghost mode. I'm not Dogman mode. I'm not cryptid mode. I'm not anything. I'm concentrating on EMF meters and other stuff. And we're walking around a bit. And this is most of the day. It's November when we did it. It happened to be a really nice day where it wasn't too cold. Besides, I had a heated jacket, so I was covered.
Yeah, I'm all right. Yeah.
So we go around, we're looking around, and we go, and he keeps talking about Dogman, and I'm like, give it a rest. We're in, a ghost hunting mode or whatever you want to call it. And, I said, let's walk up. So we walk up over this little hill away from the mound. We go up to the top of this dirt road, and then we cut across, and we both agreed, hey, I mean, if this was where we were living, there'd be a keg right over there, a little bit of a fire. This is what we would do as kids,
Yeah.
high school kids, whatever. And we both said, like, it's interesting. There's a vibe here that I don't know if it's paranormal or not. And he keeps saying, well, you hear those dogs barking? I'm like, enough with the Dogman stuff. Not everywhere you go is, whatever. I said, to be honest, I'm in ghost hunting mode. So as we're coming back, we decided to do a little test with a meter, EMF meter, trimeter, and it has the one where it registers numbers on it. So we weren't getting anything, and I said, all right, if anybody's here, any of the spirits are here, can you make this number say 67? And we waited, and then it started climbing up from 58, 59, 60, and it went to 67. So we're like, ooh, this is interesting. And then we were playing around number. Can you make it go to 72? Yep. Can you make it go back down to 43? And it was doing it. So we were having some kind of communication there. Did you die here or whatever? And we kept hearing, I mean, it was a big dog. I said, yeah, it's a big dog. I've heard dogs before. Like, some dogs have that deep, like Labradors actually secrete when they bark, they have infrasound in their bark. A lot of animals have it. So maybe you're just like, I'm like, focus, buddy, get the ADHD away from it and focus on this. And then we heard another big dog bark. And I said, you know what? This is really, I looked up, I was sitting back for a second. I looked up in the tree, and about 10 feet up in the air was a fresh break of a branch.
That's pretty
So
high
I'm like, I'll check that out. Now I'm getting into cryptid mode. I'm thinking Bigfoot for the most part. He's in Dogman land. Something big went up there, fresh break. It's way too high. Literally 10 plus feet. So something went, it wasn't a human being that did it. And even at a bear standing up, the black bears, they weren't, maybe they're 7 feet. This was higher than that. So my buddy goes and takes a piece of wood, and he tries to do a tree knock, but it falls apart like white birch. Then he finds another piece. The dog's barking, and the minute he hits that tree and goes, silence all around. Even the crickets stopped. And we're like, ooh, this is interesting. Okay. So we're still investigating, and it was getting a little bit later. So he said, let's go get something to eat. We'll get warm up a little bit, and then we'll come back for the nighttime investigation. So we left our chairs there. No one was coming to the cemetery. And we walked out with our bags because we have our equipment in there. And as we're walking out, bordering on the right side, that open cut, we notice a pathway on the left. So we start walking down, like, this is interesting. I didn't remember seeing this. So we start walking down the pathway. And then you start seeing signs of a Dogman. Now, a lot of you people know that Bigfoot will make teepees with trees or X's, okay? This is how this wonderful cryptid likes to make sure it's in the area. It physically pulls out a 3-foot radius tree, flips it upside down, and suspends it from several other trees to let you know, yeah, we can do that.
And you hope it doesn't land on your head when you're walking underneath.
Well, yeah. Well, I walked underneath it, and I'm looking at it. I'm watching it, and we both took pictures of it. We used to upload to Google Drive.
Mm-hmm.
They're gone from our Google Drive.
That's interesting.
I always copied it to Google
just
as a backup because I had plenty of space on there. And they're gone. We can't find them anyplace. Now I have to go through a couple other hard drives, but I will, if I find it, I will send it to you. And you can add it to whatever. And you'll see how impressive this is. So I go past that. Al's behind me about 5 feet. And I start walking deeper in the woods. And he goes, Bryce, stop. I'm like, what's up? He goes, are you hearing something? He goes, I just feel like we're being drawn into something. Like, like an animal. And it registers with me like, yeah, that's pretty interesting because we keep hearing this noise and this big, deep, sound. And so I said, okay, so we back out of that. We go get something to eat. So this time when we come back, we don't park on the left-hand side. Someone took a trash can and put a light bulb in it and made like a little street lamp for a pathway. It looks like people go to Nature Path or something like that. So my buddy has this little small Jeep. He pulls up next to it. I'm on the passenger side. We park just under it. And when I get out, we're talking about it's about 6:30-ish. It's kind of like getting darker. When I step out, I step in the wrong spot. We're on a 3-foot grade. I slide down 3 feet. So I go, okay, I got to remember that from now on. And then I climb back up. We get our stuff. And when we come back in, it's starting to get dark. We put on our headlamps and we have blue light on it. And we walk in. And as soon as we get there, and I remember saying to Al before about these kids, I said, if we ever meet these people again, these kids that come in, we got to ask them, have they ever had any type of experiences here? They just came in, came out. It was weird. So we walked in and literally within 2 minutes of us getting to where we were, here come those kids with the headlight real fast. We can't see them. We're looking. They go up around the hill. They come back down and we see them. And like, what are you still doing here? I'm like, we're doing an investigation. Can we ask you a question about? No. And they're out. So like, oh, this is interesting. So Al and I start sitting there. We start doing the investigation and Al has certain equipment and we're sitting there just taking in the scene. There are some barks every once in a while, but now it's getting later. It's getting cooler. Al's having problems with his equipment. That's one. Something's draining it. Brand new battery. And he has this stupid look on his face. Now, Al is very susceptible of getting jumped. That means hitchhikers. I'm like, what's wrong with you? And he's like, nothing, man, nothing. I'm like, no, something's up. And he goes, my camera, whatever. And he comes back and he still has this stupid grin on his face. So I look at the camera. It's a full battery. I'm like, it works fine. Give it back to him. While we're sitting with our backs to the stone, there is a full moon that night. It's filtering in through the trees alongside that power corridor. My hand to God, we start getting white mist rolling in and it's circling around the graveside. And I'm like, we're like, no way in heck is this happening. This is your atypical. This is literally American Werewolf in London. Every horror film, you're out in the cemetery and there's a fog over it. This is happening right now. And Al's acting weird. And I'm like, I got to get him out of here. So I said, it's getting cold. Let's pack up and go. We go. And as we're walking back to the car, after about an hour and a half being there, we see really big eye shine, amber, big eyes. And it's on the passenger's side. And we're like, well, there must be an animal. There must be a deer there. And as we're walking, now, mind you, in New York State, I am not licensed to carry any type of firearms. But when you go in the woods, there are certain predators there that may hurt you. So I carry a machete in the front, in the back, and on the side, plus a knife, just in case. And I have my backpack on. And we're walking, and I'll be honest, I had to urinate really bad.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to do it on, I mean, it was cold. We had caffeine.
You can't be marking your territory in somebody else's
No. I wasn't.
territory.
Well, I just thought it was disrespectful to urinate near a grave, let alone.
Yeah, no, but I mean, besides that, I'm thinking it could have gotten ugly.
Yeah, it was weird. So,
Yeah.
so I said, well, when I get back to the car, I'll just, whatever. I mean, it got to the point where I wasn't, eventually I was going to hold it in.
Yeah.
And Al's in the back putting his stuff, and I'm on the passenger side. I open the door, put my bag in the car, and I still have the, all these different machetes on me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm staring at, it's not a deer. It has the shape of the middle one right here, the type 3 variant 2.
Mm-hmm.
If you pull it up.
Yeah, I'm going to do that right now.
Yeah.
There we go.
It literally, actually, it has.
It's just mean.
Yeah, well, it has the shape of canine variant 1.
Yeah.
And it's sitting there on its haunch in the dark. And it's no more than 15 feet from me. And there's a big tree log in front of it. And it's just sitting. It's not moving. It's like a statue.
Mm-hmm.
So if you've ever seen a Scooby-Doo episode where he's in silhouette, that's what it looks like. Big ears.
Yeah.
You can see the snout, and you kind of can, you're trying to make out stuff, but it's just enough of cover from shadow and darkness. You're like, I can't really make it.
Mm-hmm.
And there I am giving the most longest Austin Powers urination I've ever did in my life. I'm evacuating. And Al's like, get in the car, Bri. I'm like, I can't, dude. I just broke the seal. I'm going.
Yeah.
And I keep going. He's like, I'm going to leave you here. I'm like, you're not going to leave me here. You don't want to deal with my other half. No. Like, come on, Bri. And I'm like, so I'm sitting there, and right now it has more of a dog or canine feel to it. And the snout, you can see the snout. It's like, it's like this, literally like this canine variant, but make it darker. So it's just enough in the shadow. You know what you're seeing there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I realized I grew up with dogs. I grew up with show dogs. I know all about canines. And me urinating in front of this canine, I'm telling it, and this is a dog term, I'm the alpha, you're not. And you know what I'm talking about, right, Michelle?
I do.
I'm marking my territory.
Yeah.
I'm the boss here.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there, and I can't go. And Al's screaming at me. And then all of a sudden, this thing, like sitting, just goes like this and disappears. And at the time, anytime, I'm getting goosebumps right now. Just when you get when I get goosebumps, I know things can happen.
Yeah.
That could be paranormal. That could be a ghost coming in or whatever.
Yeah.
And that little voice in my head said, it's time to go now.
That's it. Yeah. Right.
So I hopped in that car, and we took off. Al took off like a Mario Andretti.
Mm-hmm.
And all I did was I had my hand ready on the machete. And I swear this thing went down. It looked like it was moving to the right, like it was coming. Mm-hmm. And I'm waiting for this thing to come out, and it never came out. Al took it like a bat out of hell. He's like, next time, hold it in. I'm like, I couldn't,
Yeah.
And so here's where it all kind of crazy.
Mm-hmm.
This is where it really gets you after the fact, the psychological aspect of this cryptid. I am 6'1" tall. Mm-hmm. I'm on a 3-foot grade. That makes me 9 feet 1 inches tall. And this creature sitting on its haunch, behind legs, his snout was up to my nose. If it stood up on its hind legs, it would be almost 12 feet tall. Let that sink into you.
Yeah. Yeah. That's massive.
That was my first encounter. And
now, can I just ask you quick where the location is?
Dales, New York. Right. Go ahead.
Is that close to let's say the Canadian border? Like
no. It's actually no.
The other way. It's, okay, because we have they have them up there. Like but close to the border, like near a place called Port Robinson, which is near Fort Erie.
Yeah. So here's the general consensus from my research.
Yeah, I was just trying to see if they were close.
If you have Bigfoot in the area, you have Dogmen. You have Dogmen, you have Bigfoot.
Right.
there's a reason for this. And usually what you'll have is some kind of landmark or mountain or stream that divides them. Like, you stay on your side of the fence and we'll stay on ours.
Like the land between the lakes.
Kind of like the land between the lakes, but that's primarily like that's Dogman country.
Oh,
that's real Dogman country.
Yeah, there have been a lot of sightings up there, military taking them out.
Yep.
Like people.
Well, it's, tourism or ecotourism is a multi-billion-dollar industry. I'll give you an example of that. About a year ago, I think it was, maybe a little bit more than a year ago, there was an incident that an animal went wild in a state or federal run lands in Colorado, and the park was closed, and so was 15 miles around it on all sides. And the military was called in. So there were a couple of people that were interviewed on it, and one guy swears, he goes, I saw those black helicopters coming out, and they had one of those beds, like they lifted up something out of the ground. And the creature they had on that, whatever it wasn't like the size of the doorway or, the middle of it went to the back and the front of that craft. It was big. It looked like it was feet in the front, and it was wrapped in something. Whatever it was pretty damn big. So they took it out. You'll hear stories like this. Wild dogs. We had one in Florida. We had a story last summer, like, a wild bear took out 2 people and killed
of course,
a guy in his RV. And then what they'll do is they'll there will be law enforcement or forestry people come in, and they'll take out whatever local bear they find, and they'll say they're going to check.
So they have something, yeah.
So they have something, so that there's. But while that's happening, they have other, like the guy that called me, and I wish I could call him back, but I don't have his number. I have this dream one day of doing something at a conference, and like, remember that phone call you got? Yeah, hi, that was me. When he's finished with his NDA and all that other stuff, but they'll send in somebody to take this thing out, and they do like to capture it alive, because I always say there's no experts in this cryptid world, but there are. It's government projects, dark black government projects. I know they have Bigfoot. I know they have Dogmen. There's too many reports of it, and even the guy even confirmed that if we can take it alive, we give it, and we put it into a special area.
Yeah.
So it's unnerving.
It's unnerving. What makes me, because there's a lot of beliefs that you see these things around, where they tend to be around, let's say, sacred ground, hence the cemetery.
Yep.
Perhaps because the Native American people and would have said no. They hang around sacred ground. There's stuff that goes back into antiquity where it says sacred spaces again. So what I think, it's interesting that you say primarily they're in and around the land between the lakes being primarily Dogman, because if you're a couple of hours away, and that's by car. So imagine if you go through the woods, it might be a little bit quicker, but you have Mammoth Cave, which is allegedly entrance to inner earth. I'm sorry. Yep. Can we talk about sacred place? Or, it's almost like they say it's like a programmed thing with them, that maybe it's just old programming.
I don't know if it's old programming, but it may be a source of energy that is needed by them to do what they do. And I'll explain this.
Okay, good.
I was a flesh and blood person for Bigfoot. Bigfoot's flesh and blood. It's Gigantopithecus, whatever. I had my first Bigfoot encounter in the late 70s. I was 10-ish, and I had a Bigfoot head in the window of my bunk, 3 foot, doing one of these, like, looking around. And I saw everything. I thought someone was like, who's wearing a mask? You saw the brow, so the big nose. I mean, it kind of looked like a gorilla met a caveman.
Yeah.
Massive. That was another PP incident. I had to go. There it is. But it was no more than 6 inches from my feet.
Right. Yeah.
And if it wanted to, it could have went and took me. it was just looking around and curious. But we did an investigation in 2015. It was day and night. It was a really weird one. Upstate New York, nowhere near the Canadian border.
Okay.
I've done investigations near the Canadian border, but on the Maine side. Maine.
Yeah, I could tell you a million stories up there.
Yeah.
All kinds of birds.
That's a weird area too. Especially when there's logging involved. But so we did it. I can come back to that, but we had a Bigfoot encounter, then we had a UFO come. Okay. And then we had missing time, and then we had a portal. But during the Bigfoot encounter, we had the tree knocks and everything. There were 3 of us, and we were at the top of a lake. Now, to get to the lake, there's only one way to go, is the left-hand side, which bordered along the Appalachian Trail. If we went onto the right side to get to that spot, it was a go trail. You can kill yourself. There's no way you're going to do it. So the path left, I hate the term Occam's razor, but it's the least resistant, right?
Yes.
So we're up there, and this thing was signaling back and forth with something that was 200 plus yards away from us, near the tip of where the lake is. Like, I think it was a scout. And at one point, it tried to bluff charge us. One of the guys, this guy Bill, split. Al and I, like, triangled up and like, okay, I'm not outrunning this. I'm not going into this nuclear radioactive water. I'm not that fast. So fight or flight, right? So I was like, let's go. And I was 3/4 drawn on the machete, and we stopped this guy Bill from like losing an eye. But we went back, we investigated, we had everything. We had FLIR, infrared, full spectrum, you name it, 6 million candle watt. We couldn't find anything. And my buddy's using the parabolic mic. And at one point,
those are great, aren't they?
They're fantastic. You can hear the footsteps on the foliage, and like something is creeping, but you can feel it too. I always say, if you've ever been to an outdoor fair or an agricultural fair, and they have like farmers hook up oxen and try to move a load, it's a competition. You can feel that hitting the ground, or a horse.
Yes.
This. Yeah.
Yes.
Something big was there. Okay. There was, and then we got the whoop, whoop. And the third whoop is at the other end of the lake. No change in vocalization or anything. It wasn't mimicking down at the other end. It went from whoop, whoop, whoop. I studied physics, string theory, and the beginning of quantum in university, and astronomy. I was thinking about being an astrophysicist or something, like a rocket scientist. And I just didn't want to work for a university and have them take all my stuff and I get nothing, right? So I didn't go on it. And I said, the only way you can go from point A 2 miles down the road to point B is if you can open up a portal, step in it, and come out where you want. And from that point forward, I believe, and I can't prove it, I believe Bigfoot has the innate ability to go from physical flesh and blood into a different form of electricity or energy, orbs, okay, lights, and then interdimensional. And
you just have to RV them to see that. Watch it happen.
Well, you can do it if you RV them, but the best equipment to have if you really want to see it, and they did it on, I'm friends with Russ from Expedition Bigfoot. And I said, Russ, you got the Bigfoot changing from physical into, electric before it went into dimensional and disappeared. So what are you talking about? So when you were using the FLIR and you saw the shape of it, and then it started dissipating, and then it went to dots, that was its conversion process. And it was converting so it can go interdimensional. And they use this, it's soft physics. They use it just like certain animals, like the octopus or even the hummingbird. They secrete certain soft physical particles on the skin, and it changes color. So it can also reflect or refract light, and that's why it can go invisible in front of you. But what it needs to convert from one energy to another is more energy. That's why your batteries die. That's why you have blob squatches on all the computer, phones and cameras.
Mhm.
That's why it uses the energy, like Tesla says, 369. It's in the air, free
Mhm.
energy.
Ether.
You use it right now. It's
It's like
wireless.
it's like ether. Yeah, like,
Yep,
Tesla
it's
talked
there.
about it. It's everything. Yeah. Yeah.
And if you have some guy in the woods, like with a backpack,
Yeah.
it's like, and you have like
Yeah.
45 volts of stuff, he's gonna be
Yeah.
like, I'm taking that.
Yeah.
And you that's why you see these things happen. Oh, my battery's dead.
Mhm.
Ghosts use it too. They need that energy to manifest, to move. So this is what I believe about Bigfoot. But here's the thing. If you could put up that graphic one more time, I'm going to show you
Yes.
something
Oh,
that's
no,
really
many times as you want. There we go. Here we are.
okay. So after that whoop whoop session, we went back 6 months later and we found a den of Dogman. And I'm going to look for the photos, and you can see what we found. We found a baby. We
Mhm.
believe it's a type 3 variant,
Mhm.
and we believe that there is a relationship there between a Bigfoot and what you would classify as a Dogman. And I'm going to look for it right now, because this creature was deformed enough where it had a little bit of each feature on it. I mean, it's
See,
pretty
Land Between the Lake talks about them crossing the hybrids, right?
well.
Same
See,
idea?
I think it's all part of this. I got to be honest. I think it's all the same species, and
Oh,
these are,
that's
w-
crazy.
these are genetic deformities, and they are ostracized from the original Bigfoot clan or whatever it is.
Mhm.
And that's why, like, if you see type 3 variant 1 looks more monkey. If you go
Mhm.
all the way over to the right, it looks more baboon, doesn't it?
Yes.
And
Absolutely.
then
Yeah.
you get things where it's a little more saber-toothed tiger or canine like.
Mhm.
I mean, and this could be throughout their genetic bloodline. Again, this is my theory. I don't have a physical Dogman to go, tell me if this hurts. Bing.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
have this in the house.
Yeah.
But this is also known and found in nature. And a lot of people that are into this subject are going to try to fry me on it. And I don't care.
Mhm. Yeah.
This is I did one point, I kept it separate, but there's too many things that are pointing to the fact that these creatures are pretty similar,
Mhm.
and are related. And I think just like anything else in society where, um, you know, there, my doctor had a really weird deformity. Great
Mhm.
guy, friend
Mhm.
of the family. His nose was flatter, and he had a cleft in his chin, in his lip.
Mhm.
And I had a friend in camp that had the same deformity and whatever.
Mhm.
So the human species has certain deformities, and I think if you really look at the human species, besides the Asian versus African versus Nordic or
Mhm.
whatever,
Mhm.
each one of those has some sort of defect that has been part of the gene pool and will come forward.
Mm.
Except we don't ostracize people. But when you get into these creatures and you don't, I guess there's the pure blood aspect versus the hybrid.
Mhm.
You could do it with show dogs. I mean, like, people like,
Mhm.
oh, no,
They
I don't
do
have
it. Yeah. Crossbreeds,
right. I
you
have a
know?
bull terrier. Like, I have a
Yeah.
bull terrier.
Yeah. Yeah.
He didn't like pit bulls, which were more
Yeah.
hybrid.
I have a
He just
chihuahua
wasn't a
that
fan.
thinks it's a bull terrier. Does that count?
You have a who that
I
thinks
have a
it's what?
2-pound chihuahua that thinks it's a bull terrier. So
I'll tell you, I miss my bull terrier.
yeah.
He's come back from being
Yeah.
dead. He died when he was 7. I had to put him down,
Mhm.
unfortunately,
Mhm.
kidney failure. But
Yeah.
this is an animal that can totally rip you apart, and he thought he was a 78-pound lap dog.
He thought
And
he
every
was a
time I
dog
went
man.
to Canada,
Yeah.
when I took him up there,
Yeah.
everybody's like, "Oh, that's a Don Cherry dog," and I'm like, "Yeah, it is."
Yeah, we had a
And
friend who had one. They're great
yeah,
dogs.
it's the
Yeah.
coolest. I
Yeah.
can't explain it. Now I have an Australian Labradoodle that is just nuts. I
Yeah.
mean,
Nuts is
that
good
dog's nuts.
though. You know,
But
the reason
yes,
I had mentioned, about like programming, like if you go back, there's all kinds of like even carvings throughout the ancient world that show, half canine, half human. And Edgar Casey had actually picked up that Atlantis used to breed this like Dogman type. And I guess, everything went to hell in a handbag. And then, they kind of spread out. Allegedly some ended up in Egypt, and then we have Anubis. But it's always seems to be programming, like with guardians of sacred places
Yep.
or even bloodlines, they think.
I'm going to show you. I'm going to throw you one better.
Okay. I like better.
Everybody at home can play the game with me.
Okay.
Go look up images of Saint Christopher and tell me what you see.
Oh shit! I have to do that now.
Well, I'll look for it too. Go look it up, folks.
Okay, I'm looking right now. Okay, so I'm just looking up images. Is that what I'm doing?
Yeah, just look up Saint Christopher.
Okay, I'm on it. Okay.
And you're going to see one of them where Saint Christopher is depicted with a dog head.
Oh, come on. Where is that one? I don't think they're allowing it online. If you see it, you have to put it out.
I'm gonna find it for you.
Yeah. But it is interesting, isn't it? If that is the case. Oh, hold on. What is this I'm looking at right here?
They call it the dog-headed saint. And I'm going to save this image. Okay, actually, I'm going to.
Yeah, I don't see it on mine.
I'm going to show you. I'm going to download it.
Okay.
Blah, blah, blah. Is this like, okay, great. St. Christopher, put it in there, and then I'm going to share it. And
okay.
You'll see him.
Yeah.
But
you know where I'm going then, right? How it seems to be, they're ancient beings, and people go who encounter them. Like, did you go through missing time? Did you go through a lot of these anomalies that
I've been through some strange scenarios when
with Dogman, same as
I'm
Bigfoot.
I'm trying to find that actual image, and I'm going to an image file.
Like the whole quantum thing. Like Ron Moorhead's been on the show.
I love Ron. Ron Moorhead is a great guy.
He is
I've
amazing.
Talked to him several times before.
Yeah, he's been on. He's just so kind.
Yeah, I mean, he's just an amazing human being.
He is. He is. He's smart as a whip. Yeah.
Yeah. And I remember when he came out with Quantum Bigfoot, and I'm like, holy, this is what I came to. This is a quantum based being that and I just called him. I'm like, I was writing this down in my notes, and I'm like, you hit it right. You hit the nail right on the head. I found it. Wish my computer would work. I don't understand. Oh, let me see. Data edit. There we go. Here we go. This is he's coming at rare. He is. You can put him up. That is St. Christopher.
Oh, well, isn't that interesting?
It's very interesting, isn't it?
Yes.
I mean, we do have humans that have issues with hair all over their bodies. I forgot the disease. So it's not a far stretch that we could, if these exist in humanity, they exist in nature. So I'm proposing that Bigfoot is not its own species. It's just part of a bigger species. Now I'm also proposing, because when I did a couple of shows, and I'm not doing it to pat myself on the back. It's always nice to be recognized. So one of them I did was Cliff Simon, called Into the Unknown, and it just so happened to come out when all that Into the Unknown,
Yeah.
Don't show this to the kids. But I did the Dogman episode with him, and I was talking to him, and the producer, I said, well, I don't believe Dogman. I don't believe the Jersey. I mean, I did the Jersey Devil episode. I do not believe the Jersey Devil was a devil. That's a long story. I do believe it was a cryptid.
Yeah.
Yes, it was possibly a dog. Sorry, Gary. And it's recognized by the church, by the way, just so you know. The church just recognized it. I don't know the full details of the Vatican, but the church does recognize the image. So it does give credence to it. Maybe they say, well, he didn't shave often. You don't know.
Yeah.
But I propose that the Jersey Devil, or what's seen as a Jersey Devil, and I've seen some crazy stuff down there in the Pine Barrens, is no different than the Mothman and what's taking place right now in Chicago with these flying humanoids. It is a interdimensional flying humanoid creature, and it comes out due to energy being spelled or cracks in or a timeline. Case in point, in Point Pleasant, they had a TNT factory there. You don't think they blew stuff up? Enough energy can create a crack in things. In Chicago, where they keep seeing this flying humanoid with wings and whatever, near the FedEx terminal over by the airport. Did you know that the first collider was in Illinois? It's called FirmLab. Did you know Fiona Broom, which was an investigator of the paranormal, and coined the phrase Mandela effect?
Yeah.
Did it?
I've met Fiona. Yeah.
Okay. Did it just around the time when they ramped that collider up and they immediately shut it down? So I've talked about this before, but I propose that this is our timeline. Sorry for the plug. I guess I don't want to get you in trouble with this.
No, it's okay. Just do whatever
This is
you
our
do.
timeline.
Yeah.
And this is one of the timelines around us.
Yeah.
And when they ramp up those colliders, they boom. And what happens is you get one of these. You get the bottom half of I grew up where there was a cornucopia on the Fruit of the Looms. There was no Wiggly Piggly Wiggly on the Ford.
I've seen pictures. I grabbed pictures.
I remember seeing, because I gotta be honest, my grandmother bought us underwear.
I know, right? And I remember it.
Right. And then what happens is it's like you have our timeline, and then when the timelines want to seam themselves together, they want to go back to where they were. But we get bits and pieces from another time. So now we have, up to a certain age, the 1990s, there was a cornucopia on the Fruit of the Loom. There was all these things, the Monopoly guy, everything you're talking about, Bernstein Bears.
Yeah.
I remember.
Yeah.
But now we sealed it with the other half of the dimension next to us, and now there's no cornucopia. Monopoly guy is Chinese, or whatever the theory is, and all things change. Now, mind you, the individuals that exist in that other timeline are going, when did we get a cornucopia? We're getting our top part.
Yes.
And when have you ever broken anything from mom or grandma or dad or whatever, and you're like, oh, I'm going to glue it back together?
Yes.
It never works. Never. Same thing with your timelines. There's always a crack in your timelines. And I believe these interdimensional beings are using those from the collider to go, what's that? And they come out of those cracks, and they're like, oh, I like this. And what they feed on is exactly the same thing you've seen in Monsters, Inc.
Yeah.
Fear. The Hat Man. Have you had that? If you've ever had a shadow person in your house, a shadow figure, the Hat Man, and everybody's like, I'm so scared. And it leans closer to you. It's feeding on your fear. Just like how the batteries got charged with little kids when the monsters came through the door, and the kids, same principle. And I'm going to throw you something different. If you look at the map of where the black-eyed children are spotted, each time you look at it, you can correlate it. There's a university nearby, and every university I know of in the States has their own small micro colliders.
Funny that.
So let's get back to Dogman.
Yeah.
I believe these, it's the big question about the cemeteries. Why do they hang out in cemeteries? Because no one goes to cemeteries at night. It's the bottom line.
Right.
Only us idiots go to cemeteries at night.
I know, right?
What do you want to do tonight? I don't know. Let's go to the cemetery.
I know.
And they know they're not going to have any problems or encounters or whatever. And who knows? Maybe I'm going to say it, and I'm sorry, but maybe they do knock on newly buried or whatever. There's also energy in a cemetery, believe it or not. Even though they're passed away, there's still energy there. There are souls that don't realize they've passed on, and they stay there. So it's kind of like, like it's a good spot to hang out. It's like the 7-Eleven for cryptids,
Yeah.
So that's why, like, Anubis being, the god of death.
Guards the pathway to the underworld. See,
Yeah,
he's a guard again. He guards a sacred place.
Right. And these things, it's really interesting. We have here's another little bit of a Dogman thing. In upstate New York, I have a friend up there in the Hudson Valley that has Bigfoot on her property. And she has
everything's crazy in the Hudson Valley.
Yeah. There's a ton of stuff in the Hudson Valley. Come on down. I just came back from the Hudson Valley. I was doing some investigation up there, actually.
There we go.
On my free time. Because that's where I was born and raised for the most, in that area, actually New York City, but that's where we have our spots. And it's just an amazing spot. But this woman has a piece of property and has a big barn, and she has a lake out back. And what she does is fishing. So she has her home in the front, and there used to be a porch there, but she kind of closed it in, and she sleeps on the porch. Husband sleeps, it's like one of those, I can't sleep, I'm gonna go downstairs. So she's been in the woods, and she has a certain spots, we'll get into it, but she also has certain spots near there where they have Dogman on one side and Bigfoot on the other. She's had photographs of some of these things. So she says the weirdest thing happened. She sent us an image of a handprint from the fingers down. It points out a little bit on one of her windows. And I think it looks like it's upside down. And I said, oh, that must be, they must have flipped the photo. Maybe they took it the wrong way. We go up there and she tells us, so I have a ding on my front door and I have a dong on my fishing door. So I know the difference when someone comes in, like dong, dong, dong. Okay, someone's at the fishing store. He says, the other night, it's 3-something in the morning. And I go, ding, dong, ding, dong. So she's getting something hitting both back and forth. And I'm like, okay, that's pretty interesting. They're messing with her. Dogman is very, very smart cryptid. They know what they look like. They know what fear they instill. They enjoy it. They get off on it. And they're like playing around with people. We go looking around the property and we find a Dogman print, which is basically looks like a keyhole with like 3 long bones coming out and a little bit like middle claw, like a 3, like this. Okay. And I'm looking at the window and I'm like, oh, this is interesting. I said, where was the print you got? He goes, oh, they must have put their hand on it. I said, lady, this thing was on top of your roof here. And it went upside down to look at you into your window. And that's why it was upside down. And she was like, oh my God.
That's clever. That's very clever.
Very, very clever. So, but she keeps a double barrel shotgun wire bed. So she's like, I don't care. I'm so now she closes the windows to it. But this is how clever they are. And they're curious. I'll take you to something that happened not this summer, but last summer. I'm a part of a fraternal organization, and I had a couple of brothers that wanted to go see Bigfoot. Oh, take us to see Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Okay. Take you to Bigfoot. I have one area in upstate New York, just below the Adirondacks, because I love
crazy place, Adirondacks.
The crazy that is nuts. Actually,
yeah,
that is nuts.
Yeah,
a lot of reports. Oh, I can tell you a story. I'll tell you in a second about. I have a woman that contacted me and sent me video, and I've waited long enough. I'm going to start releasing it, so I will release it.
Yes.
And it's incredible. But we're there, and I said, "Go." We parked the car. I said, "We're going to go up this path. You're going to get to a fork. Stay to the right. Do not go left." I didn't tell him why. I said, "Just stay to the right. You can't miss it. There's a rock. You'll know. You can see it. They break off. I'm going to go pick up I'm going to put together these bags of powder, like plaster of Paris, some water. So if we do find a cast, I'm casting these things.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, okay. So they start walking. So they got like, I don't know, 5 minutes, 6 minutes ahead of me, whatever. And I'm doing my thing. And the next thing I hear is a horrific scream, like for help.
Mm.
And I'm like, what the F? And I grab my stuff and I run up and I have my machete and I'm
Mhm.
like huffing it up there. And I'm like, what's going on? I come up and they're standing there frozen. I'm like, are you all right? And he's just standing. He's like a statue, like he got frozen. And then I'm like, are you okay? Because I'm concerned with him. He goes, what the hell is that? And I look, and 20 yards from us is a Dogman that looks
Let me
like
bring it up. One of these.
Type 3 variant 2.
Very
And,
juicy.
and
Yeah.
you see how it's, if you have dogs and when they're going to growl,
They get mad. It's a squinch up.
Okay.
Yeah.
This thing, I'm seeing it from a little bit of waist high. I got one claw is like this with nails.
Mm-hmm.
The canines are like nothing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
They're big.
Yeah.
And you can see it. It's going back, you can see and he's like
That is really mad.
growling.
Yeah.
And both of my friends, they're like, what the heck do we do? Like then they're frozen.
Mm.
The frozen solid. I said, okay, we're going to get out of here and let's go. And he turned around. He started walking. I said, stop. Do not turn around. Do not turn your back to him. I said, walk backwards. And we walked back out of that. We walked back to the car. And all he said is, they both said, we want to go home now. Very humbled. We want to go home now. I said, well, we can go back up. We took the wrong path. And I realized what happened. When you go up this path, I wasn't there for a year. I moved to Florida. So I haven't been back, but there was some tree falling and the right path got covered over with brush.
Mm.
So they never would have seen it. I would have known it. I'm like, oh, this has got, because I've been there.
Mm-hmm.
I know certain areas. When you go in the woods and you do it enough times, you know your area.
Mm-hmm.
So they didn't know this. And they went, you go left. I said, stay to the right. Left is Dogman country. Right is Bigfoot country. I said, well, now that I know we can go back, I know where to go. They're like, I want to go. We want to go right now. So we drove home, like an hour and a half, almost 2 hours. And I drove them back and I said, you guys okay? And they didn't say a word to me. And they got in their cars and they took off.
Mm-hmm.
And I still haven't heard from them.
Well, no, because there's always that chance that they could be tracked. Like we know somebody who this has happened to. They made eye contact and they were tracked right to their door.
Yeah. Oh, there was
wrecked the car, everything.
So if you look at wolves and coy wolves, right?
Yeah.
Animals in the wild.
Yeah.
They have about 150-mile radius of hunting. That's their hunting ground.
Oh, I grew up north with wolves. Yeah.
Okay, so you know.
Yeah.
Okay, take that wolf.
Yeah.
Triple them in size.
Yeah.
So if they can go 150 yards, they can probably go 400, 500 yards. 500 miles, I mean.
Yeah.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
There is a story, and I don't remember the exact thing. Guy went hunting. Drove 2 hours to go hunting.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard my friends do it all the time. Actually, they go to the Adirondacks, or some of them will go into Canada to go hunting. Because you guys have like great hunting up there.
Yeah.
And so he goes hunting, got a 308, going through the woods, comes up on a Dogman. And he doesn't know what to do. He's never seen this before. And I think this is a Vic Cundiff retell. And didn't know what the heck was going on, whatever. And had the gun in his hand. And the Dogman actually, he said he stared at his eyes and it felt like the Dogman was talking to him in his head. And the dogman said, "Don't do it. Don't do it." And he lifted up his rifle and started firing. And he ran out, got in his car, and he took off back home. Well, not long after he got home, and he didn't live in, he lived in the suburban area where there's a lot more woods, and it wasn't like it was where the woods were.
Mm-hmm.
Other dogmen came to his house and ripped it to shreds, trying to kill him. And he was able to get out, and he got out of it. And he said, I mean, they knew where to go. They knew who he was.
Mm-hmm.
I always thought, you ever see, I think it was, I forgot the name of the group in Star Trek. It was, they knew everything. We are the Q. We are the one.
Q, yeah, the Q. Yeah. So they were, yeah.
I think what happens is they have a collective consciousness. I think Bigfoot has it too, because that's also part of how I think they're related.
Mm-hmm.
And if one is having an interaction with you, then the others know about it somehow. They have access to it.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I would not be surprised, because I've seen this before. If you have one dogman in front of you, 99% of the time you have another one
behind you.
Coming around.
Yeah.
So if I'm at 12 o'clock, you're going to have one at 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock, or coming up, you're 6.
Mm-hmm.
It's like any type of pack animal, and wolves are known for this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They travel in packs, pairs, minimum, because it's a hunting strategy. Even Bigfoot does that.
Mm-hmm.
One will force the game into a trail, and the other one's going to ambush it. It's the same principle. So I think what happened was, the dogman said, "Don't do it." He says, "I still hear him in my head.
Mm-hmm.
I can still see him." And the guy said he had terrible nightmares after that. This thing was coming back to him.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there's a telepathic type of communication. I've never had that yet.
Yeah.
Yes. I'd like to have that kind of. That would be really, really. That would just be like the bucket list thing. Like,
apparently they are very telepathic.
Super.
Yeah. and very, like what you say, very calculated, and they can communicate, and they look to your reaction. If you're respectful, there have been reports where people just walked away without problems. If you're not respectful, then that's where you end up with trouble. So, question for you: how would you categorize? Because this is what's really big in Canada, and it's called a loup-garou, right? Of course.
Loup-garou, yep.
Loup-garou is Louisiana. Loup-garou, yeah, is more indigenous out here, right? But the English call them this wolves that walk upright, wolf people. And what they are is, because we've all had experiences with them. I know I've had many people tell me theirs. From the time when they were children all the way into, they were in my area. And of course, the Niagara area is really known for them. But when they run, they lope. They're very lanky, long, long snouts, long legs. But then they stop and they stand up and they walk on their hind legs.
Yep. I've actually. I remember I said I have an Australian Labradoodle.
Yes.
He has the weirdest eyes in the world. I've known dogs my whole life. Never seen their human eyes.
Yeah.
A lot of these dogs, because my kids watch these videos, like, "Oh, this is so cute. This is just like Simon." Named Simon, Duke of Hastings, just so you know. Yeah. We just call him Simon. We're idiot. Stop doing that.
Yeah.
There's people that are posting videos, and it's with this breed a lot. There are dogs walking on their hind legs.
Yes, I've seen those. They train them to do that, a lot of them.
No. I know somebody has a dog.
Yeah.
And I'm like, your dog's standing on its hind legs. Like, you're like, oh, he does this all the time.
Yeah.
And they walk on.
Mm-hmm.
That's a little bit bizarre, but I've seen that before. I've seen some.
These are big.
Yeah.
Like, I met a woman who her grandmother lived on this farm, and she always said to her, "Don't go near the woods." Like, 100-acre farm. Like, don't go near the woods, because that's where the wolf people live. And she's just like, okay. Turned 16 and goes, screw it. I'm going to freaking walk towards the damn forest. She starts walking towards it, stops halfway into her trek, and notices 5 what looked like canine featured,
Yeah.
bipedal walking along the edge of the forest and the farm.
Yeah. I mean, there are reports after reports or after reports of the same thing.
Yeah.
It's even in Appalachia. So from the Appalachian Mountains going all the way down.
Yeah.
There's a lot of cultures that have reports of upright canine or
Yeah.
beings walking on hind legs. I will also tell you that as far as extraterrestrials are concerned,
Yeah.
the species,
Yeah.
there are species that look like werewolves. There are
Yes.
species that look like wolves. There are
Yes.
species that look like Chewbacca from Star Wars. There's another one that looked like the Ewoks. There are other species there.
Yeah.
But when people say, well, I saw a UFO and a Bigfoot came out of it, what you're not understanding is ET is an equal opportunity abductor.
That's yeah.
Okay. And if they travel through an interdimensional world and they think we're the only ones that do it or whatever, and they see
Yeah.
another being traveling and thank you, Mark. I don't know what comment you made, but I'm just
Leave
gonna
it
thank
to
you.
Mark.
Yes, I will leave it to Mark. If they're traveling there and they say, why is that doing it? They abduct them too, by the way.
Right.
And I use a reference. I used to go into Grand Central Station and I'd see other trains coming in from Queens or Connecticut or something like that. And then you kind of get familiar with who's on what train. Oh,
Mhm.
that guy's running for the Connecticut train. Like, how do you know it?
Yes. Yeah.
Just observe things. It's not being a busybody. It's like
Mhm.
when you're bored waiting for your train, you just notice stuff.
You do.
And they're like going through Grand Central Station interdimensional and they go, I don't know what that is. Let's find it out. They pick it up. They do their same type of testing
Mm.
and whatever, and then they release it.
Mm.
And but yeah, it's really interesting. I've heard a ton of stories, wives' tales, right?
Mhm.
Local lore and legend. I used to have a guy up my summer camp who used to be a wild man. That was the name of the club, the Wild Man.
Yeah.
They're talking about Bigfoot, but
Mhm.
there's like I've met a couple of people from, Appalachia, and they will tell you if you hear whistling, you do not go in those woods. If you hear your name called, you do not go in those woods. If you hear
Yeah.
babies crying, you do not go in those woods.
No.
And these creatures, and I thoroughly believe that these creatures, if hungry, will eat humans, and they have a taste for human flesh.
Mm.
100%.
I mean, I believe anything with a wild streak absolutely can, a hamster will eat another hamster if it's in the same cage, like it will, it's been known to. But,
Yeah.
I always go back to as well, because in Canada, I think, especially the Quebec, Montreal area, a lot of the settlers from France came in around the 1600s and stayed there. And in and around, France had, I think in the 1400s, they had some werewolf epidemic or something.
They did. I forgot the name of it.
Yeah, but it was like 14. It was pretty crazy medieval times, right?
Yeah.
But by the 1600s, they were here, and then there was some kind of God, what was it? There was some kind of thing in one of like their Gazette or something, and they were talking about how they had wolves that changed not just on the full moon. These things were changing every single night. So some were into wolves, some were apparently like less cool, like dogs, cats, owls,
Right.
it was pigs, war pigs, like things like that. But this thing was published in like the 1750s or 1760s, something like that. So is it possible that along with the folklore, and perhaps let's hypothetically, I'm going to be that guy. Let's hypothetically say, there are human beings who can somehow transform into something, which,
there are shape-shifting beings, whether they're humans or not.
Right. See, okay. So there's some humanoids that perhaps can. Could they have made their way from the old world into our world? But was it for the
100%.
fact, however, that the indigenous had many stories going back way before? It makes you wonder, this is worldwide.
So yeah. So I would. There's a lot of different cultures that talk about a creature that is some kind of monster, and you would classify what we're seeing behind my head on my background, a monster. Trust me, you do not want to see that. Whoa.
Don't ask. I could push the wrong button. I was trying to get this.
No, it's fine. I play around with them all the time.
I'm trying to get up.
I mean,
okay.
If you literally came up against any of these, and we're talking 7+ feet, so 7 to 12 feet tall.
Yeah, I've seen a very similar photo to Canine Variant 3.
Canine Variant 3?
Yep.
Yeah, I've seen that too.
Yeah.
I call that the Van Helsing werewolf.
Yeah, he's probably one of the coolest looking ones, though, isn't he?
They call it a soldier, and they're not joking. I've seen a gray one.
Yeah.
Actually, I've seen a gray one on a hill with a young one kind of running around, and it kind of did something. It made like a call, and it stopped the young one from pursuing something, and it was like its parent to like, get the hell over here. I don't like them.
Yeah.
But I do think there's a hierarchy. There's older ones and younger ones, and I think the younger ones are the ones that cause a lot of the problems. The older ones got to reel them in. But as far as coming over from other countries, yes. Remember, all these land masses were once one at one point. So, and then when you get into the indigenous, you're talking about something like a skinwalker. Okay. And the Navajo talk about skinwalkers.
Oh, yeah. We've got one on our network. He talks about them all the time.
Okay. So you actually had one of the craziest out of Canada stories of a skinwalker ever. I remember when it was going down. Yeah. I was listening and watching it live. Because it wasn't the internet. It was just being broadcast. And like someone was like, no sensors around because they should have stopped it.
Wow.
That was a Greyhound bus. Guy comes on, looks indigenous, native, like an Eskimo or whatever you want to call it. Sit next to another guy. The guy stinks, smells like rotten flesh. Cuts the guy's off.
I remember that. I remember that.
I remember that too.
Yeah.
And then the Mounties surround the bus.
Yeah.
And he's in the doorwell with the head of this person. Yeah. And he's chewing on it like, come get me. That guy was almost up for parole. I was like, I think last year. He came up.
They didn't let him go, I don't think. No.
I wouldn't have let him go. So a lot of people believe he was a skinwalker.
Wow.
And part of being a skinwalker is the transformation process. And yes, they can transform.
Yes.
Now, you have to make an agreement and do some pretty nasty things.
Yeah.
Like more than unholy. It's you couldn't even talk about it on air. I'm just going to tell you straight up, go look it up if you can.
No, he's very careful on his shows because the elders and the shaman are very specific as to what they could say. But he's told a lot of stories of skinwalkers within his family.
Okay. Yeah. And it's usually a family member that's tired of all the whatever it is and takes this route because they want to feel important or whatever.
Yeah.
And what they have to do it is horrific. But they do the Navajo police. There's a special police. I forgot the name of them. I was talking to somebody about this. I may have an offer to go out to the Navajo reservation and be able to hopefully hook up with one of the former police officers that hunt these really weird things.
Yeah.
And it was they actually did it for a TV show. They were filming live.
I remember Paranormal Rangers.
Right.
The Rangers. He talked about them.
Yeah, you must have seen the episode that they chase this guy up a hill and you can see everything's lit up and you see some eyes behind a rock. There's no place for this thing to go. And then at after a few moments, a big black wolf comes up that looks like the canine variant one on us and it goes up, is about to go over, stops, turns around, looks at him, and then hops over and disappears. They run up. the guy's gone. Think about it.
Yeah.
So I do believe we have certain beings that have been on Earth that have these abilities to shift and transform that people are weary of. Natives don't like them. Indigenous don't like them. My dad collected Eskimo art, so I know a lot about the Inuit, and they put Anukashuks up, and those are the rocks that look like people, you know, the arms out, and they do that
They're all
purposely.
over Northern Ontario, those things.
Yeah, because there are spirits, and that is to ward off some of these other spirits.
Yes.
That are out there.
You know, when I was
crazy.
oh, sorry, go ahead.
No. It's just crazy stuff.
Yeah, well, I was just getting into like folklores and ancestral beliefs and so on. When I was in Romania, I was in a town called Brasov, and they have a tradition that on the night of the full moon, the wolves come down from the top of the mountain, and you don't want to be in the courtyard when they do. So, of course, I had a choice, either be there on the night of the full moon or to be in the haunted forest on the night of the full moon. I opted for the haunted forest because it just had a lot more.
Abochku Forest.
Hoibatu, yeah.
Yeah.
Boy, it was, okay, shit got real in that forest. It was amazing.
Well, let me tell you something. So I'm watching.
Yeah.
I'm watching the show Expedition, whatever the hell it is, or whatever the name of the show is. Josh Gates.
Yeah. Expedition Unknown.
Yeah, and you see Evan sitting there, and Evan gets lifted up and thrown. Evan wasn't a light guy at the time. And I'm looking, I'm like, oh my God, I know him. And my other half's like, how do you know him? I'm like, he grew up in our neighborhood. I know his sister. I know his brother. My brother's a friend. So I know Evan Stone, Evan B. Stone.
Yeah.
If you just look up Evan Stone, you're going to get a porn star. He's not a porn star. He's Evan B. Stone. He actually is really good with AI and all this other stuff. He's Josh Gates' main guy.
Yeah.
It's either him or Weed. I forgot Weed's first name. So it's just interesting. You have a guy named.
He got accosted in that forest too, didn't
he? That blew him. He's not one of those kind of guys that was believing this stuff, but he's like, yo, bro. And then I asked him at one point, I'm like, about Chernobyl, and he goes, that was weird. Because there are beings in Chernobyl that pop up. But it's funny you mentioned Romanian.
Oh, I love it.
Romania.
Yeah, we spent quite a bit of time there.
Yeah, I tried when my niece went over to Romania and Czech and whatever. I'm like, did you bring your favorite uncle, some, special green fairy juice? And she's like, no, I didn't put it in my bag. I'm like, okay, I can't love you anymore.
Right.
That's one of those places I want to do. But I used to do a story, the old radio circles. And now it's time for the adventures. Yeah. So I did. I'm a Knights Templar. That's why it's Sir Bryan Bowden. I wasn't knighted by the Queen. I follow the traditions of the original Knights Templars and what they do, the goodwill, spreading the word.
My ancestors.
Hear people. Yeah.
Very nice.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, you are. So family there. I don't follow there's like 20 different organizations at Knights Templars, but some of them. Yeah. I follow the originals and what Christ would want.
Yes.
I wasn't born into that, but that's what I follow.
So is that the Scottish rites?
Yeah, it's the Scottish rites. Yeah. So I'm not the Illuminati. I'm just going to tell you right now. It's just my bank account. I wish I was, but I'm not. So, but the people in that end of it, they put on this chapeau and they put on all these allegories, and I'm like, you're missing the point. And I took the point as what it should be. It's kind of like very Indiana Jones. That's the cup of Christ. It's a wooden chalice. When it's actually the Virgin Mary, but we're not going to get into that right now.
Yes.
But I did a serial, and this started because one night I couldn't sleep, and I watched some TV show at 3 a.m, and these two guys in the military were in the savannah trying to survive something. They ran out of water, and one of them found a dung pile of elephant dung, and literally took it and squeezed it in a cloth in the mouth of the other. And it was horrific. So I had to write, I'm like, I couldn't believe what I was watching on TV.
Yeah.
And the guy's eyes had this fear in his face. So I started writing I wrote a story called Elephant, a serial, and then I decided to write, I created this character, the life, the adventures of Sir Bryan Bowden, and I recall this precarious time in Botswana,
Yeah.
and this was in Romania, and we come up against a werewolf. I will send it to you. This little audio. It's really funny. Or actually, maybe I'll just post it. But in there, there's a werewolf that comes out of the mountains. This is based on some of what you were saying.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy comes in, he gets caught in the town, unknowing about this. He's supposed to meet, he got called there by, oh my God, who is the Russian mystic? Oh my
God. His name was,
Rasputin.
I was going to say, who's the one who slept with the queen? Yeah, that guy.
Rasputin. So,
I remember.
Yeah, so he gets called there because they're having a problem with this creature. And they wanted their help. And long story short, the creature comes in, it's totally obliterating the women of the night and everybody in the town. And he's trying to get to his firearm that's in his truck, but it's like, here's the werewolf, there's his truck. He has to distract it. So he takes the genital parts of a former man and goes and throws it like a dog, and the werewolf chases it. Then he gets the gun and so on and so forth.
Right.
But it's hysterical because it's like, how can I make this the most bizarre thing on the planet? And
I think you landed it.
Yeah, I did. It's when you read it, you're like, this is crazy, but I can actually see it.
You can see it unfolding.
People would be like, it's a weird serial, but they would like, that was great, and now with AI, you can kind of do things.
Yeah, this is true. But
I'm
I will
a
tell
little
you,
Romanian too, so.
Yeah. Oh, is that? Oh, I went with a friend of mine. We stayed at her family's home there, and then
I've got some Eastern Bloc in me, and French and whatever.
I'm a mix of That's a whole other thing too. But so we probably mix into some of the same. But
yeah, probably.
But you know what? I Romania is like many different ancient cultures. I've really traveled many different parts of the world, and the lore changes, yet it's so similar. But Romania, people don't all realize, is when you're in Hoiabațiu, it's believed to be a portal. Parts of it at that time, I don't know if it still is, we're under a no-fly zone. And the locals are always seeing UFOs and lights in the forest, and UFOs crafts over the forest. And there's 2 circles. Everybody keeps messing up, but there's the main one. Haunted as heck. Tons of stuff happened that night. Yep. But you could hear the portal. It's like a droning sound. As soon as you walk in, it's very, very silent. You don't see any wildlife anywhere near this circle, but you hear this droning sound, which it's craziness.
Yeah.
Of course, I came back with soil.
Well, I didn't get there just yet.
Oh, you have to.
I'm trying to get to some of these places.
Yeah.
I thoroughly believe that we have certain we'll call them ley lines or spots around the world.
Yes.
That portals can form or have the perfect ingredients for a portal to form. And are like windows. It's kind of like airports. They know where
the ancients knew it. They built they built all their temples and stuff over them.
100%. And most of these, like, if you really want to follow, it's really interesting of the British Isles.
Yes.
The Welsh.
Yes.
Which are ridiculed.
Yes.
The Druids were now modern day Welsh.
Yes.
And they were mouth to ear people. They didn't write stuff down.
No.
And
no.
Merlin
history. Yeah.
Right. Merlin, the real Merlin.
Yeah.
Was a Druid it was Welsh.
Yeah.
They talk about him.
But weren't there many Merlins?
There were a bunch of different ones. It's all the craft, but I've been to Stonehenge. And when I was there, we weren't supposed to go across the line, but it was so foggy.
Of course you did.
Of course I did. Yes, I did.
Of course you did.
I didn't travel 3,000 miles
to not
on
cross
a really bad flight to sit. And of course, when I go out to Bath and Stonehenge and Aylesbury, I mean, like, is there a fire? No, this is fog. And I'm like, oh my God. So it worked out better in my favor anyhow.
Yeah.
But I thoroughly believe that Stonehenge is not a burial mound. I don't believe it's, a boys' club.
Hmm.
I believe Stonehenge and a lot of these groups in these areas are portals.
Hmm.
And what they did was, depending on the size of the stones and how thick they are and how small they are, and vocal cords, using frequency and sound, it bounced off and created a portal where you can go travel into.
Hmm.
Come out at Avery or wherever you want. And this goes back to this Dogman or cryptids. They hang out in areas because the right elements are there to allow them to come, do their thing, and then go like the wind back where they want, be it interdimensional, inner earth, extraterrestrial. It's just everything you need.
Is this why you think that many of them gravitate towards sacred places for this reason, because of the
Yes.
energy?
I think the energy's there and they know it's there, and
Yeah.
it's like off the chart energy.
Yes.
I saw something very interesting. They did from the USGS, a geological survey.
Hmm.
I released it on my Facebook page. They showed magnetic anomalies through North America, including Canada. Now, I've been working on this. If you look at a map and you see where the UFO sightings are, the cryptid sightings are, I will almost guarantee you're also going to see magnetic anomalies in those areas. And that's part of it. That's an energy source. And they need the energy source to come in and go and do what they want to do.
Would explain why upstate New York and let's say the different areas throughout Niagara Falls, so Ontario, essentially, why they're so powered up with all kinds of different cryptid sightings, but the wolves primarily.
Yeah. Well, yeah, again, you're
The
talking about like
power.
Niagara Falls. You're talking about
Yeah,
pulse.
exactly, the
That's
power.
constant energy, power,
Well,
energy.
and look at all the power sources that have been built,
Yep.
right?
Right there.
Yeah.
So you have that there. You have entrances. If you have Niagara Falls, there's got to be cave systems that are.
Let me tell you a story during lockdown, Brian, okay?
Yeah.
Living near Niagara Falls at that time, okay, because we had a haunted manor house out there, which overlooked, like, we
That's
walked to
sweet.
these places. Oh, it was great. But, whenever there was nobody there, we would take drives. It's all you could do, right? And I'm like, I'm looking across the board because normally you can't see across to the other side because it's
No, you
wall
can't.
to wall people.
Yeah.
I'm looking and I'm going, is that a freaking cave? Like, holy shit, is that a freaking cave? Like, the whole way I'm driving, going,
Yeah.
is that a freaking cave? There's entrances everywhere.
Yeah.
And that's looking over to the US side. I can't even imagine what's on the other side.
My first time I went, I drove my father up to Toronto to
Yes.
go get Eskimo art.
Yes.
And I happened to buy a spirit piece that sure as heck looks like a reptilian. And it's got these, it's a
There's believed to
reptilian.
be reptilian tunnels
Yeah.
in the
Well,
area.
you have reptilian tunnels. Actually, the gentleman I met and I was talking to you about on from Canada,
Yeah.
that like you'd think he's crazy, but he was spitting out some major truth if you knew what to listen for.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, if you ever get to the panhandle of Florida, look for the caves because that's where Inky is. And we're talking about the ant
Yeah.
people.
Anunnaki. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
And the
and Lil.
the ant people and the Anunnaki.
Okay.
It's two different stories. It's the same
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
And you go down to the inner earth and then you have interactions with them.
Yeah. See?
Yeah.
There have been a lot of people who have seen, obviously reptilians in full form or shape-shifting, or I say shape-shifting, I think it's more of a projection of how they want you to see them personally, but I do have to tell you one more story because I know we're near the top of the hour. I was
Sure.
helping this family, really bad, crazy oppression, haunting sort of thing, without getting into specifics. And there was a very interesting story because here we're talking about Dogmen and here we're talking about how they're very connected to sacred sites. And this wasn't far from an indigenous reservation and residential school that had
Right.
been very much guarded by, the nation. And the family was away, and he was there, alone with the dog, and he's taking the dog out. And the dog turns around and he's not having it. He's like, I'm not freaking going to do my business. You crazy? You know what the hell's out there? Yeah. So the dog's backing up, but he's like, okay, whatever, brings him into the house, turns around because he hears this grunting. And there's this tall being. He claimed it was hooded, but it had this long snout on it. And he picks up the freaking dog, which is a big wiener dog, right? It picks up this dog. Oh, yeah. Back into the house, slams the door, locks it, whatever it was, comes in, smacks the door, and he could hear it sniffing the top of the door frame.
Yeah, that happens.
Yeah. Well, sometimes they'll circle, right? He goes, I wasn't going to pay attention to see what I don't care at that point. I just want out. But what was interesting is that there were ET sightings within 4 days of that sighting, and all kinds of people calling into the police department and such. So, I wonder if there's this connection there.
There is always a connection. I think ET's curious. So ET's surveying.
Yeah.
And that's why they come in at certain points and then they disappear. Like, we had 10 craft. Where did they go? Well, they finished their survey. They finished picking up the people they were supposed to pick up to redo whatever, get eggs, get sperm, and then they moved on to the next quadrant.
Mm-hmm.
But when they detect anomalies in, we're going to call it the vibration of the frequency, right?
Yeah.
They're going to pay attention. So they're going to come closer to it. Thank you very much, by the way. Seeing some of the comments. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And so they're going to go check it out. So you're going to get UFO sightings. It's very interesting. When we did that day-night investigation, we were told privately, well, she wrote down notes that we were going to be greeted by the guardians. I don't know if she said like guardians, I think guardians of the forest. And I saw them, and there was a whole, like everything that you could think of was there. Elementals, Indians, former body, like flesh and blood spirits between indigenous and some other cryptids. And they had some of these, they had hooded figures, some of which just kind of had their hands in their arms.
Yes, I've seen them.
And then they had ones that did not look like they were human. They looked like they could have been dogmen or that dog snout on it. And I'm seeing this with my eye. The other people are like catching. I'm telling them there's something over there, just things over here, whatever.
Yeah.
And they're watching on a film camera, thinking they're recording it, which they were. I saw like recording, and they go, "Oh my God!" And they're seeing all these elementals, and they see what it looks like robes in the background. I'm like, they're really, really tall. I don't even know how to describe these things. Like, imagine being in the woods and then being surrounded by all robes.
Oh, yeah.
And
I would rather not imagine it.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's something
Thank
you want to
you
go
for that
into.
image.
Yeah. So, but that's what it was like, and they
Yeah.
were watching us. And
So, like they have their it's like their own. I don't want to say society, but maybe it is. But it's like they've got like some group.
No, I'm thinking that there are certain beings tasked for certain events. I don't want to use the word things.
Sure.
But if you don't, there are guardians of the forest. There, of course, there's guardians of the galaxy. Totally different show.
Yeah.
But there are beings, like you said, Anubis, guardian of the underworld, Ra, sun god.
Yes.
There's a lot. I think a lot of the Egyptian stuff goes back to, Atlantis and the Anunnaki, and gods that are really tall. That's a different type of.
That's a whole other show that we can get into, all kinds of different gods and what people think are real gods, and just
Yeah, I just believe in a higher power and pray he
Exactly.
watches over me.
I believe in source. Yeah.
Yes.
Sounds-
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm having a conversation with somebody about what sources versus.
Mm,
He said, because he was a witch, but he's also he's half human, half
yeah, hybrid.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And he goes, we were having this conversation because he put out a book about source and trying to explain it.
Mm-hmm.
And I still believe I believe in the Judeo-Christian type of stuff for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, source. He goes, God, source is the arena, and that God and the devil play football in.
That's different. I've
Yeah,
never heard that
so
perception.
whereas I believe source is God.
Yes.
So you can call it whatever you want. You can worship whatever you want. If you want to worship a head of lettuce, God bless you.
No, I get it for sure.
Crispy. No, I'm joking.
Yeah. Well, this
yeah.
is very enlightening.
It's so much more. That's
Oh, you almost have to. We'll do another segment because I know we've got another segment coming up next month.
Yeah. There's some strange. Yeah, well, I appreciate it.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. I think it's great. I
thank you for inviting me on, and maybe I did what's his name? Oh God, Father Sean's show. And,
yeah, isn't it great?
Yeah, no, I love Sean. He's like, I'm wondering if you'd want. I'm like, Sean, whenever you want me, I'm on.
Yeah, he's a sweetie, and that's a doll, and that's
I don't do. I end at demonic. It's above my pay grade.
Whereas I've done those, yeah.
And because I have kids, I don't need that coming back to me.
No.
So I always tell people, and I stick with cryptids and UFOs and whatever. I like that a little bit more now.
Yeah.
I can talk to people that are not here. I've done it. It freaked me out initially. I know I can do it. I do readings. And 99% of what I do is, and I said, I've literally stopped well over 24 people from killing themselves. And if that's my path, so be it.
Yeah.
And then I get a couple of free, and then I get a couple people that they want to pay for a reading. I'll do a reading.
Yeah.
But I'm usually helping people, and I love it because the more you use the ability, it begets other abilities. Like I had a psychic friend, and I was missing a friend of mine, and I was coming into my apartment. And I was like, "Man, Rob, I hope you're okay. I hope you're doing well. I miss you." And I miss you too, buddy. Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. And I'm like, okay, I made that up in my head. I did not make it up in my head. I actually heard it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, holy, like I'm having a conversation. Yeah, you were having a conversation. Like, what's it like up there? It's weird. A lot of love. Don't worry about it. I miss you too. I'm sure we'll meet, we'll talk again. So I called up and I said, this is what happened. And she goes, oh my God, you got clear audio. And I said, I don't know who Claire is, but you can keep her effing audio.
Nice. Yeah. I love it. I'm an ET experiencer. I am, paranormal experiencer many times over. I mean, cryptids. So I just seem to be a little old magnet.
Well, I mean, I've had the missing time at the Bigfoot, and then coming back and forth to Florida looking for a home. Everybody in the car was abducted. And it's fine. You can take me and baby's mama, but don't touch my kids.
Leave the kids alone.
I seriously.
No, I hear you because I'm a parent.
Yeah. So in the Adirondacks area, I got contacted by this woman who has a property.
Yes.
They're coming. You need to help me. Literally on video, you see a gray going like this behind a tractor and moving around. She goes, you got to tell them they need to go. And I'm like, lady, I hate to break this to you.
It doesn't quite work that way.
My name's Bryan. I'm not God or anything higher.
Yeah.
He ain't going to listen to me.
You know what?
Like
I've heard they're respectful. Some of them are very respectful. Some of my experiences, because I've had them full on, and where I've just said when I can feel them coming in or walking around, I would just say, okay, you know what? I always say that I'm too damn tired. Not tonight. I got a headache. Whatever the case may be, but they leave right away. And I mean,
Yeah.
when I'm asleep, I don't care after that. It's like whatever.
Yeah, let me get to sleep and take
Let
whatever
me,
you want from me.
yeah,
Just
let
don't
me
hurt
just
me.
believe I'm getting a good night's sleep.
I
Right.
yeah, from down here, I used to
Yeah.
everybody goes to sleep early,
Yes.
whatever, and I'm always late because it's hard for me. My brain goes back on and
Oh, I
whatever.
hear you.
And
Yeah.
I know when something's gonna happen because I'm waiting. I'm looking at the window. I'm like, come on, just stand up. I know you're gonna be there.
Yeah.
And then you get a high pitch and whatever it
Yeah.
is. But yeah.
Yeah.
I
Right.
don't, you know what? I just want to know who my extraterrestrial children are and see if I can use them to get tax money back. That's it.
You would. Okay. Tell us when your show is. What have you got coming up?
Wednesday nights from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern. It's called Third Eye Live. It's under my account. So if you search at Brian Bowden with a Y, why? Because we like you.
Yeah.
Just subscribe to me and you'll get notified. Please hit that bell, get notified because YouTube has been really bad about it and they're shutting things off. But I broadcast through there. Mark Eddy co-host. He's, I bring him on for everything. I'd love to have you on as well as, and we can discuss, whenever it's easier for you, because I know you do a bunch of
Oh, I could
shows.
give you an hour, but I'd be slipping them from yours right into mine.
Yeah, well, we could do that too. I mean, that's not a
Yeah.
bad segue.
Yeah. Yeah.
I will tell you, my oldest daughter goes to college, so I'm not having anything next week.
Yeah.
The following week, we may have Max. I forgot his name on. He did an encyclopedia. He did something about a transformation of a cat, giant cat.
Oh, I know him. Yes, he's been on my show a couple of times.
Yeah. So we're going to be talking about that, and then in September it gets a little bit weird because at the end of September I will be in Richmond, Missouri, presenting on cryptids and some other stuff at the Crossing Realms conference. You can come down. I'm giving out free hugs. They're free. I have a copy of my one book. It's not paranormal. It's called Words and Muses.
Yeah.
I have some shirts. I'm not really there to sell anything.
Yeah.
I'm there to help and present. So that's where I'll be. But so my show's going to be like scattered because I got to drive there. It's like 21 hours worth of driving.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. See, Wayne's feeling your pain, trying
Yes,
to sleep, and the brain says, "Hey, do you know the moon is hollow?" Eyes
said it.
pop open.
The moon is hollow.
I'm
I got into a discussion today because we were talking about dreams,
Yeah.
and I tried to explain there's dreams and then there's experiences, and I can say that for a later time, but there's a big
vision. We're actually doing an open mic next week on dreams and visions and interpretations and dream weaving, and it's just like I love it.
Yeah, it's about vibrating higher and following your path and doing what you have to do.
Yeah.
So,
No, I do have
there's
a
a lot of
daytime
good
show as well too. It's just kind of
Just
rotated
whenever
around.
I'm pretty much, if I'm not doing,
Yeah.
I'm open. So I
Yeah.
like to try to keep it live to get the people come in.
Yeah,
And
for
I would
sure.
love to be on a network again, but
Yeah.
we do drop.
Well, if you happen to be ready, I happen to know somebody that might be able to help you there.
Yeah, well, I have like beeps and whatever, but I'm not doing it for monetization at this point, and I believe it'll come. I'm doing it to help people leave with a positive vibe.
I think it's important. We've been around 25 years doing podcasts before they were really podcasts, and our network, and we're 30 shows strong at least, and we get the word out, and it's just people like yourself coming on and just sharing the information and the research.
I know the network. I know who the people you have on there. I'm friends with a lot of them. I mean, you could ask Mr. Scott. He's like, I need you, buddy. I'm like, okay, I'm there.
Yeah.
It gets bad because I'm on the East Coast, so their 9 o'clock is my 12 in the morning.
Oh well, that's California. I mean, I'm East.
Yeah,
I'm Eastern time. We're New Orleans, so they're only an hour behind us.
So I have no problem, but like some of the shows that I've done stuff. I've gotten contacted by people in Japan. You come on show? I'm like, yeah. Is that a thread or are you?
What time is that? Yeah, yeah. What is that? What's that? We got to sync our schedules.
Yeah. Do I need those like translation earbuds?
Yeah. No, because the
cool.
Japanese, like the Asian people, and a lot of the events that I did, love anything high strangeness. I used to have an Asian television station out of Toronto. It would come to everything I ever did.
That's great. I mean,
Oh,
yeah, they
so
do love it,
so
and they read. So if you do write books,
yeah,
Europe is where the books are. US, they don't read too much down here.
it's
Um,
true. It's true. Well,
I take you away.
I'm going to sign us off
Sure,
before the
I got my
boss
US
comes out and
passport.
says, "Hey, no." Oh, all right, everybody. For all of those who have been in the chat room, thank you so very much. You make it that much more fun for sure. Appreciate all of your comments. Um, you have been listening to the Outer Realm. I almost forgot who I was there for a second. And with my guest, Sir Bryan Bowden. And big thank you to the United Public Radio Network, UFO Paranormal Radio Network, at 105.3 FM from the Gulf Coast, 107.7 FM from New Orleans. Next week, okay, here we are, Beyond the Outer Realm, Tuesday afternoon. Carol Ann Idarola joins me for one of our uncensored segments. So we'll be digging into covert projects, not so hidden agendas, and altered truths. Wednesday, we welcome back the amazing Dr. Christopher Macklin, and we're going to be exploring the world of angels and these incredible multifaceted divine messengers and guardians and their esoteric connections. Yes, we are. Thursday open mic. Yeah, my guest co-host Wayne Mallows who will be joining me. We're going to get into a deep discussion about the dream world. So it's going to include messages, visions, dream weaving, visitations, interpretation, you name it. We'll go ahead and talk about it, and see where else it goes, because it is, after all, open mic. So anyway, thank you for joining me tonight. I am looking forward to doing it again and again, whenever you wish. All right, everybody. Good night.